Good afternoon. My name is Stacy Conkiel, and I am the Director of Marketing and Research at Impactstory. And before I begin, I want to thank the organizers of the 1am conference, and specifically Kat Chimes of Altmetrics.com, who've allowed me to re-record this presentation we're listening to right now, so that users who weren't able to attend the 1am conference in person can hear what we have to say about incentivizing open science through Altmetrics. So let's get started. This is Impactstory. Impactstory is a nonprofit startup, and our primary aim is to encourage the incentive system in science to reward openness. That is, to reward researchers making their work available online with as few restrictions on access and reuse as possible. And we do this by making it easier for researchers to find out where their work has been cited, saved, viewed, discussed, and more, by aggregating altmetrics from across the web. That's our primary aim. Our other aim is to keep altmetrics open with a capital O, so that we can help avoid the pitfalls that commercialization of metrics has caused in the past. For example, our off-malign friend, the journal impact factor. So we do this by offering open metrics with context for diverse products beyond the journal article, and we wrap all of this up in profiles that are built explicitly to meet the needs of researchers. Let's break that down. What do we mean by open metrics, and how are we open as a nonprofit organization? Well, our data, code, and governance are all open and freely accessible to all. And we operate in this way to both help avoid the pitfalls of the commercialization of metrics that I mentioned just a moment ago, and also our main reason is to lower the barriers to adoption of altmetrics for scientists. We want researchers to be able to use their own data without restrictions, because this will ultimately help spread the word about altmetrics, and that in turn will help incentivize open science practices. But more about that in a moment. We also place a lot of importance on making the metrics we provide matter to scientists through providing context to the numbers. After all, how many citations is considered a lot of citations? Say, if you're publishing a bioinformatics paper, or if you have published one in the past year or so. What are a lot of citations for a work that fits that general profile? And when you share the code to your research software on collaborative coding websites like GitHub, how many forks? That is, how many adaptations of the code is a lot relative to other open source research software products that are available on the website. Now, we provide this context in three ways: badges, percentiles, and by exposing the underlying qualitative data. So badges appear next to the title of the research product on an Impactstory profile, and they sum up the type of impact into two general categories: scholarly interest and public interest. And these badges are shaded according to the strength or amount of interest that an item has received. So we see here, Carl's modeling stabilizing selection paper has received a lot of public interest because the highly discussed badge is dark green rather than light green. Now, badges are great at summing up impact, but often researchers need more information. And by clicking through the badges, you get a drill-down view of the numbers. The item page provides that drill-down view. Let's take a closer look. So we see here the exact numbers and percentiles, and links that are embedded in the numbers themselves allow us to dig down even further. So if we were to, say, click on the 191 Mendeley readers, we're taken to the Mendeley website to look at the qualitative data that underlies those numbers. Here we can see the demographics data of who's bookmarked this paper and what they're tagging it with. Similar views appear on other websites like GitHub, where we can see who's adapted your source code, or Scopus, where you can see the most recent citations to your work. And if you've got a Scopus subscription through your institution, you can click through to read all of the papers that have cited your work. Papers are far from the only type of product we track, though, and that's because few researchers are only creating papers. Datasets, software code, slide decks, figures, and other research outputs are now available online, as are the conversations that surround him. That's why we offer metrics for diverse products, And these are just a selection of the research products that we track across dozens of web services. And we've carefully curated the data sources and products that we track in order to build robust researcher profiles that really meet the needs of scientists who practice web native and open science. And this is what sets us apart from similar Altmetrics aggregators. We've built a professional grade tool to meet the needs of individual researchers. Not administrators, not funders, not press officers. Those are different audiences with different needs and functionalities. Those who have been following us for a while know that we used to offer an API that was used by journal publishers. We've since deprecated that service to focus on meeting the needs of individual researchers. Researcher profiles have changed radically this past year, improving the focus on the diversity of products and impacts that researchers tend to create. Impactstory profiles meet the needs of researchers like Carl Boediger here. Carl's well known for his Open Lab notebook and for being a co-founder of the Open Sci group, in addition to the excellent research that he produces. Carl's profile homepage offers a 50,000-foot view of what scholarly works he's produced that he thinks are the most impactful. His homepage also allows Carl to highlight the metrics that matter most to him. So if visitors want to know more about the scholarly work he's produced, they can either click through the title on his selected work section, like so. Here's a familiar item page again. Notice here that the open access versions of Carl's work are automatically embedded in the item page, making it very, very easy for Carl to share his research. This is another new feature. Alternatively, visitors can click through the left-hand navigation bar to view Carl's work by genre, articles, datasets, figures, and so on. Here's Carl's datasets genre page. Note the impact summaries at the top of the genre page, which give a sense of just how widely his datasets have been disseminated. Individual genre pages are also new to Impactstory. It's these data-driven stories that can help web-native scientists like Carl get rewarded for practicing open science. And profile updates are just one change that's happened in the past year at Impactstory. In the past year, we've received a major NSF grant to study the diversity of impacts that software can have beyond just mere installation and possible citation in papers. Our team has also grown by 33%. Jason and Heather hired me as the Director of Marketing and Research at Impactstory. We've also improved profiles considerably in the way that you've seen just now. We've also changed our sustainability plan to be subscription-based. So after a free 30-day trial, users are asked to subscribe to our service for $10 a month or $60 a year. And in the past year, we've also really tightened our focus to rely and be mostly on the researcher themselves. Like I said before, pulling away from focusing on meeting the needs of publishers or administrators to just focus on the researcher. And that was in the past year. In the next year, we are looking at 7% weekly growth in our revenue. We're aiming to be financially sustainable by the end of the year thanks to our new subscription plan. We'll be delivering on the NSF grant that we have received and all the research therein, really get that project going. And additionally, roll out more and more new features, such as maps, so you can see the demographic data of where in the world you've been tweeted or cited and so on. Twitter and GitHub impact statistics. The ability to roll up multiple research outputs into what we're calling a research package, so you can deliver an entire group of related outputs together in one easy-to-navigate web interface. We're also, as part of our NSF grant, looking to introduce better software tracking and article full text. So the ability to basically mine a journal article to see if mentions exist to a software package in it. And finally, we're looking at more metrics for blog posts and also more infographics and visualizations that can help researchers fully understand the impact that they're having. So, thank you. I encourage you to visit us on Impactstory to explore profiles for yourself and sign up for a free 30-day trial. Or, if you'd like, we always welcome you to shoot us an email at team@impactstory.org if you have any questions or just want to chat. Thanks very much.